Through the first 6 minutes of the game between the Dallas Mavericks and LA Clippers, it seemed like a typical hangover game early on a Sunday, since NBA players are simply not conditioned to play while the sun is just reaching its apex in the sky. But little did we know that the Mavs were about to drop a hammer so hard they'd break the all-time record for biggest lead by halftime and make us all turn our heads to watch the carnage unfold. The big caveat here is that Kawhi Leonard did not play after getting 7 stitches to his lip during Friday's game. But after going through the footage, I'm honestly not so sure that would have mattered one bit. And while we've seen bigger margins for a whole game, let's face it, once you're up 50 points at the half, the second halves don't matter one bit. It took about 6 minutes before we got an inkling something was up, as the lead was a mere 8 points with neither team shooting well. In fact, it was the Clippers who drew first blood with this Iverson cut for Paul George, a nice little isolation for a step back long two. But the Clippers went on to miss 15 of their next 16 shots. And who knows what might have happened if a few of these very good and open shots went in instead of rimming in and out. By the time they strung together 2 makes in a row, the score looked more like football than basketball. The pick and roll hurt the Clippers defense a lot last night, and it hurts every single defense that allows an inside ball screen to be used in the middle of the floor like this. When Doncic puts Kennard in jail here, they leave Serge having to defend the ball and his man, and if it's a guy like Powell, there's no way to stop this if the pass is on target. With the Clippers getting back on D, there's a slight scramble to match up properly, but watch Paul George tell Serge he wants a switch on this drag screen. Serge wants absolutely no part of Luka, who collapses both of them to the front of the rim. Beverly did a good job to close out, and I'm sure he's thinking PG will get there to recover so I can get back to the shooter on the wing. This ball fake freezes George, and Kleba gets an open look for 3. This is Spain pick and roll, where you see Richardson about to set a back screen on Zubac. The Clippers want to switch all of this, but since that back screen is slipped, Lou stays with his man, and Zubac moved in that direction too, opening up a straight line drive for Luka, who is just too good to allow a shot that close. The Mavericks run Spain again, and watch, PG switches on to Colin Stein, Zubac on to Luka, and then another switch so Lou is on the ball. This was going great, until Lou decides to half reach in for the ball, allowing middle penetration. Remember the Zubac switch? That means he's not near the rim to protect, and Luka cannot be stopped here. If there was a sequence that perfectly encapsulated this game, this was it. Zubac wants a dribble handoff to Patterson on the right side, but Lou is too slow setting the screen, so they reverse it. Knowing PG is the main threat, Luka simply denies this pass, and you can see how it all falls apart from here. Although I dig the solid back screen from Zubac on Luka, the shot clock is now an extra defender, and on the mismatch, PG does not generate a shot. Giving it up to Reggie Jackson is tough because he's got 5 seconds to do something, and there probably wasn't enough time to take advantage of the mismatch down low with Doncic guarding Zubac. The heave turns into an air ball, and because of the cross match down low, the Mavericks jog the ball up to find the same mismatch on the other end, as Zubac is forced to guard the perimeter isolation by one of the best in the league. And I gotta say, he did a very good job containing and jumping out, forcing Luka to get rid of it. But watch Lou Williams once the pass is on its way to Cleveland. He should be moving in the direction of the ball, i.e. towards his man on the left wing. Instead, he's 2 steps slow getting there, and Richardson just nails the shot. Early in the second quarter, this game was already out of hand, but with the 3-point shot, we've seen wild swings before, and the Clippers put in a terrific defensive possession from pressing in the backcourt to rotating nicely to help on the drive. The handoff into ball screen was also contained, as Patterson does an excellent job switching. The defense was doing fine, right up to the point where Finney-Smith sets this flare screen on Reggie Jackson. Despite having room and time to get around to his man, Reggie calls for a switch, but Lou looks a bit lost out there, and James Johnson gets a wide-open 3 to make it a 28-point lead. You hear me shaking my head? And that's when a guy on my favorite players list started doing his thing. When Jalen Brunson comes around the double ball screen, it would have been a lot better had Lou just switched and picked up the ball. Instead, Reggie is left chasing from behind, and it puts Zubac in a 2-on-1 pass break. Terrence Mann should be bumping down on the roll man here, but look where the pass is placed. It doesn't seem to me that any rotation here would have helped. unless it was Wilt frickin' Chamberlain disrupting the pass in the air. The Mavericks come down and show an inside ball screen to the left, but Johnson rejects it to catch Kennard not prepared for the handoff, and compounds the issue by going underneath. Remember, when a righty is going to his left like this, it's an easier hop into his shot because his shooting hip and elbow are already aligned to the hoop. Oh, and the 29-point lead makes this shot a lot less pressure-filled too. The Clippers' offensive struggles were real, but I do wonder if things might have been a little different had some of these good shots generated out of the offense went down into the basket instead of rimming in and out. Bad habits started to creep into the Clippers as the lead ballooned, like Luke Kennard foolishly gambling for a half-hearted steal in the backcourt. That creates a 5-on-4 situation where Terrence Mann has no other choice but to stop the ball and pick up the shooter on the left wing. That proved impossible, and it's another 3-ball. Another possession of good defense to start by the Clippers, and Beverly has made a career out of being extra physical and handsy, but it backfires as he reaches in, not realizing that Brunson can spin back to his strong left hand and right to the hoop for the easy layup. While turnovers weren't a big issue for the Clippers, a poor pass like this across court is a pick six, adding to the football score analogy. The Clippers continue to generate decent shots, like this pick and pop for Ibaka, who's shooting over 40% on the season so far, but check my man Brunson, who gets Patrick Patterson to jump to Hardaway with a subtle fake handoff. Nobody picks him up, and he's got the easy 14-footer. In a different game, I'd be showing this clip as a perfect example of great team defense, as the Mavericks run their motion to reverse it into a pistol action for Richardson, coming off the pin down into handoff. Kennard gets through it all to pick up his man and not force a switch. Then Serge blows up the pick and roll by switching onto the ball handler, and I like how Batum denies the ball to Luka, making the Mavericks take precious seconds off, resetting it to him on the left wing. Now they've got their best Luka defender on him, and PG has him. Right into the point, he gets too handsy with the reach-in, allowing Luka to spin away into a wide-open 16-foot shot. Keep your eye out for this most popular action by every NBA team this season, the double pin down on the weak side. The Mavericks blow this into a step-up screen, well defended with the switch, great closeout by Beverly, and then he stays glued to Richardson to prevent the shot. Again, all great defense so far, and with almost no time left on the clock, Batum just needs to keep his position and not do something stupid like, say, foul the shooter by reaching in. Of course, Luka hits it, and now we're in record territory with a 47-point lead. The Clippers' offense was all out of sorts yesterday for a lot of reasons, and perhaps the score was so daunting that PG just throws the ball to Kennard despite his whole body being in full denial. This got us to 49 points. There's only a question of whether the Mavs could keep the lead above 48 to get the record. The Clippers had a shot at avoiding the biggest halftime deficit of all time as Paul George wound the clock down and shot over the smaller Richardson, and it was oh so close to going in, but it was a microcosm of the entire game. While the Clippers seemed to get it together to start the second half and go on a 10-0 run to cut the lead to 40, using Ibaka down low for a couple of jump hooks, and then putting their heads down to attack the rim and draw a pair of shooting fouls, like this when the whole Mavericks defense geared up for the double pin down on the weak side for Luke Kennard and forgot that Beverly still had the ball, and then there was this handoff to Paul George, which got him into the lane into a windmill that drew contact. It was all way too little, way too late, as the Mavericks hit them with a run to end the third quarter with a blitz of threes. Yet another very good defensive sequence that contained every bit of action the Mavericks ran, and it left Richardson out top to isolate with 7 seconds on the clock. Again, crazy tough shots from distance are a lot easier when the score is as big as it is. On this quick step-up screen for Luka, it caught man bumping down too far and for too long on the roll man, leaving an easy pass to his own man, Tim Hardaway Jr., who knocks down the easy jumper. The Clippers tried zone, and the Mavericks uncorked this beauty that everyone should run at all levels down to high school. They cut Burke and Hardaway across each other in order to backscreen the two guards and allow a runway for Luka to go in between them. The shot fake gets Reggie flying by, and the simple pitch back is yet another wide-open three that balloons the lead to 47. There are always going to be schedule losses, and it's possible the Clippers had wrote this game off before they even started, knowing that they had to travel back to LA late Friday and play so early on Sunday. Without their best player, it wasn't a surprise that this ended up as an L in the win-loss column, but I don't think we're going to see a margin like this again for a long, long time. And I also know the Clippers won't let this happen to them, so long as they've got a team that can open the season beating the Lakers and the Nuggets so soundly. But the Mavericks are on their own ascendancy. If they can get KP back healthy, they're going to be the ones celebrating wins very deep into the playoffs.